Good morning, good morning. It's JR with Citrus Carpet Cleaning Atlanta and OMG Carpet Cleaning. We're in Beaufort, Georgia. It's about 8:30. This particular job found us on the internet, which is, mostly where probably 60% of our business comes from Google. Not ads, but just the way our website is optimized. So it's basically free leads. If you've got a business, carpet cleaning or otherwise, and you're not on Google, you don't have a website, then you're missing on immeasurable free leads from Google, Bing, all those search engine kind of deals. So, like I said, this is a rental house. Initially, the guy counted out to be, I think, 11 areas, but we just walked through, and there are actually 13. I don't know what he miscounted, but that's why we always give a per area price. Bleach spot, why we always give a per area price as well as a total, because people will miscount or they'll add an area, and if they already know there's a per area price and the area number of area changes, then obviously the total is going to change. The only change I know, we'll get down in the basement in a minute. There's 4 bedrooms up here. There's some red spots. I already told him these kind of things were not coming out. He said that he expect them to. But there's 3 secondary bedrooms, and then another red spot. And then the master, of course. But in the basement, told me there were 3 areas, which includes the stairs, but there's actually 4, because the main area in the basement is basically the size of the living room here and the kitchen. So the way we count basements is however many rooms are above it, that's how many rooms it counts, or how many areas it counts as when we clean them. So we got the stairs, which is 1. And then we've got this large area in the basement, which, some people say, well, it's 1 area. So, like I said, we make it simple. However many rooms are above it, that's how many areas it counts as. And, people get that. Don't get any pushback on that usually. And then there's also a bedroom down here. So it wasn't actually 11 areas, it was actually 14. So 14 areas is 520. Like I said, there are some spots, but I went over those with him as far as what would come out, what would not come out, and he gets it, which is probably 90% of our job is setting expectations before you start. Key being before. Because if you try to explain spots after you're done, then it's a much tougher sell, so to speak. So like I said, it's about 8:30. We'll knock this out and shoot the after. Stay tuned. Okay guys, it's 11 o'clock. I just finished up this 14 area job. Most of the spots, unfortunately, were stains. The difference between a spot and a stain is that spots will come out and stains will not. We don't ever give the illusion to our customers that everything is going to come out of carpet, because it's not. Carpet's very porous, so it will, once a spot dries to it and bonds with it, if you can't break the bond, then it's a stain. And like I said, we cover that with our customers before we start, because we don't want a level expectation higher than what we can deal with, because that translates into unhappy customers. And that is certainly something you do not want. So like I said, some of the very few of the spots actually came out. Most of them were stains. I did cover that with the landlord before I started. Make sure we're on the same page, because the importance of that cannot be overstated. But again, with the spots, we do not charge extra for the spots. I did try probably 4 different types of cleaner, and I'm assuming that is paint. A couple of these gray spots were paint. I do have some POG, which is paint, oil, and grease. It rarely works for me, but I always try it. Same thing with this red, Kool-Aid red type stuff. I think it's called Red 1. It rarely works. The only thing I found that works consistently is the rust remover we use. It works most of the time. Not all the time, but most of the time. But everything else, all the multitude of different products I've tried for specific spots have never worked out well. So I just typically let the homeowner know ahead of time. A couple of spots we will test them before we get started to let the homeowner know where, how they're going to clean up, or if they're not going to, or if they are, or what the status may be, so they know what, again, to expect. Because that's the important thing, is to meet, at the very minimum, meet the customer's expectations. We prefer to exceed them, but we can't do that every day, but we certainly try. So no per spot fees, no upsells. Like I said, this was a 14 area job. I had quoted him 13 area job. I had quoted him 11 because that's what he told me how many areas he had. Again, the thing we do before we start is we walk through all the areas, count them up, let them know before we start, again, so we're all on the same page. You don't want to have 2 extra areas get done and say, oh, okay, you had 2 extra areas, because that's not something they necessarily agreed to. So you can always address that before you start. Again, this is JR with Citrus Carpet Cleaning Atlanta and OMG Carpet Cleaning, 770-652-0630. You can also reach us at 404-500-9853 on the web at 770nosteam, STEAM.com. Because again, we don't use steam, we use a citrus-based cleaner. So this carpet is mostly dry right now. We did use a deodorizer as a freebie for this customer. Thanks for watching, and as always, be kind, and if you're interested in getting into the business and doing what we do have a manual that we sell, a course, if you will. Covers everything from marketing, which is the most important thing. Because if you can't get your phone to ring, if nobody knows what you do, then you can't do any business. And the most important thing about that is your website. I know a lot of people who don't have a website, and I said, well, if you don't want all, free customers from Google or Bing, that's fine. That's totally up to you. If you'd rather not get those free leads and just wait for word of mouth, which is a great way to grow a business. It's a very solid way. It just takes a long time. Because think about the number of people, including yourself, who've gone to Google, Bing, Yahoo, whatever, to look for an HVAC guy or a painter or a handyman or even a restaurant. That's where people go to look for stuff. The internet is the yellow pages of 2022. And if you have a business, you're not listed on there, you are missing thousands of dollars of revenue by not being on there. It is an expense to have a website, but it pays for itself, thousands and thousands of time over. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care, be kind, and we'll see you soon.